Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, a second video for today. This is a rarity, especially for me. But yeah, a new day, a new dev blog, and this one is containing some, well, interesting information. So let's get into it. So if you've not booted up the game yet, you will find that now we have in-game credits being added if you are Omega, as well as the daily login rewards. Now, initially when I first saw this, I thought it was 10k. It was on a second inspection, but I realised that it was a 10 million. 15 million, basically all the way up to, if you collect all of it, it's 235 million ISK for logging in. Now, I'm a bit on the fence with this. I don't necessarily like it. I don't necessarily dislike it. Maybe the fact that CCP is just trying different things, but it does feel like a bit of a kick in the face that we've had all this scarcity and the rest of it trying to pull money out of the system, and then all of a sudden we have a massive injection of cash from the heist and this login reward. Now, obviously 235 million doesn't sound like a great deal, but if you times that by 50,000 accounts. Now, I'm assuming that there will be more than 50,000, but just to give you an idea, 50,000 Omega accounts logging in to acquire the free giveaway over the 6 days is 11.7 trillion ISK. That's not including, obviously, the heist, which has another 20-odd trillion in there. So, you know, again, I'm not necessarily happy, I'm not unhappy, but I do think it's a bit rich. At least when they're giving away the ships, i.e. the Praxis. You can take the Praxis, obviously sell it on the market, but that's not generating ISK, because obviously the ISK is already in the game because somebody else needs to buy it. So this is just an injection of ISK into the game, and obviously this will cause some inflation in some items, Plex more notably than others, I suspect, and generally in game we've already seen that slightly. Plex is on the move. So yeah. So, obviously, you've got 6 days. Well, you've got more than 6 days. It's 6 days. How long does it run for? 7 days remaining. So, yeah, you've got 7 days to collect your 6 days worth of ISK. Don't be missing out. Get on there. So, as always, I will link the blog in the description for those of you who want to see it, find it, read it, etc. So, I'm going to gloss through a lot of this because it's not relevant to what we want. Daily login, but obviously the daily login tells you about it here. Now, what we're interested in is the market fee and tax reduction, and this is quite sizable. There's a few things I like and there's a few things I don't like, and I will explain my reasoning as we go through. So, add into this extremely rare and advantageous set of circumstances for capsuleers looking to add to their fortune. All of the New Eden's major empires have previously agreed to a 50% market-wide broker fee reduction and a 50% sales tax reduction too. Those reductions are now live, but only for the next 3 months. Now, that's quite important there. So at the moment we have obviously a huge decrease in broker fees, sales fees, taxation throughout all the empires for the next 3 months. And this is very notable and very sizable. Now, if we look at perimeter, the TTT, it is now cheaper to sell in Jitter and buy in Jitter if you have Caldari standings or standings to wherever part of space you are in. But obviously, we'll take Jitter because it's the main trade hub. If you have Caldari standings, then now it is cheaper to buy and sell in Jitter, not in the TTT, which is yeah, very interesting indeed. And obviously that's interesting for a few different reasons. The current war that's going on in 0-0 between Goons and Pappy, this will have a significant reduction on their income. Yeah, so it's going to... I'm not sure it will actually affect them, obviously, because they have very deep pockets, but it's gonna hurt somewhat because, again, this is a passive way of making huge amounts of ISK for them, and all of a sudden it's not here for the next 3 months. And that is quite a considerable amount of time. Now, I don't know how much the trade towers make personally, but I understand that it is a sizable chunk of cash. But so moving on. If it wasn't already profitable enough, yeah. So you now have a perfect opportunity to save 50% on all buy orders and sell orders. Now this is the bit. This means that capsuleers with broker relations to 5 trained can pay as little as 1%. Now obviously with standings that takes it down. I think one of our members was saying that they have a buyer fee of 0.63% in jitter. Now with my standings aren't perfect and I'm getting a 0.8% broker fee or sales buy-in tax, and so say for selling I am able to sell at 1.93% fees in jitter. Now in the TTT for instance, or for example, my sales tax there is 2.25%, so it's not massively cheaper, but it is cheaper, and obviously to buy set up you're still saving 0.4%, which depending on what you're buying and how much of it you're buying is quite sizable. Now this is the bit that's kind of got me, and I'll read it to you. Making that deal even sweeter is the sales tax reduction of 50%, meaning that once you've saved ISK on placing an order, goes the other through, you can now sell some of your Plex that you have in your Plex vault or any other item in the region and enjoy 50% sales tax reduction. Right, let's just check that again. Even more cash. Once saved ISK on placing sell orders, you keep even more of that cash once the sale goes through. You can sell some of the Plex you have in your Plex vault, well, that's a bit of an assumption really, or any other items in the regional market. Okay, right, fine. So yeah, that's what we've discussed. Now, they have changed the accounting skill here to give you more of a reduction. So in addition, the advanced broker relations skill will now provide a 6% relist fee reduction per level instead of 5%, with a max reduction at 80%. So you can save even more risk every time you modify a buy or sell order. This change will persist after the 3-month reductions above have ended. Well, that's fine. I didn't read this bit, so I wasn't 100% sure whether this would stick around once this had this 3 months had gone. Again, I'm pretty much reading this blog as we go. So obviously, yeah, so it's worth potentially now. I've got it currently trained at 4, so I could do with getting it to 5. To be perfectly honest, it's been on one of them because it's a level 5 skill, and I don't amend my orders all that much. It never seemed worth it, but now obviously with the reduction, there'll be more people playing around with their sell orders, which may mean I have to do mine a bit more. Now, am I happy with this? I personally didn't necessarily mind the 0.01 ISK game back in the day when it was possible to sell something a bit quicker. If you wanted something to sell fast, you babysat it and you played the market until it went, and if you didn't really care about selling it fast, you put it on at a decent price, and again, like we do now, you just kind of left it and hoped that the market came back and it sold. So I'm a bit on the fence here. I don't mind either way. It took a style of gameplay away, and I know a lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people did. And again, if you needed the ISK, if you were a newish player, it was better for you, I think, the 0.01 ISK game. And that's because, as I said, you could babysit your order and ensure that it sold ASAP. If you were willing to put in an hour or so, depending obviously how many units, then you could get rid of the stock you had pretty quickly. And for a newer player, that's obviously advantageous because you often need the ISK, so you can go back, buy stuff, reinvest it, and basically cycle it all over again. So obviously with this change, that kind of stopped all that, and although you can still amend your orders, you pay a hefty price for doing so, where prior it was very, very, very small and really had no great effect. So yeah, that's interesting that they are reducing it again down even more to try and encourage. Are they trying to encourage more people to amend their orders because that will result in more taxes? Watch this space, but they've nerfed it and then kind of unnerfed it slowly but surely. So watch this space, we'll see how that plays out. Again, as I said, I'm on the fence here. I don't mind either way necessarily, but I I don't want to have to do both, if that makes sense. I don't want to have to be continuously monitoring my orders and amending my orders, or just as well leaving them and hoping. So yeah, it's whichever one turns out to be the most advantageous at the time. And obviously with this change in broker fees and this injection of this, potentially the price of Plex is rising quite rapidly. So we were on a slight downward trend, or we kind of reached the top, but all of a sudden we are back up and kicking with gas at the moment. So watch Plex. Plex is on the rise. I can't see it lasting, but again, with this injection of ISK and the change in broker fees, then obviously it is a good time to be trading in Plex. You can get some half decent stuff going. And if we look here, so for this gecko, if I put in a buy order, it jitter, we are looking at broker fee of 824,000 ISK. If we change that to Permitter TTT, where are you? So what was that? 824,000. If I do it here, we are looking at 990,000. So as I said, it is cheaper to do it in jitter, assuming you've got the Caldari Navy standings. And in order to gain standings to these, you either need to run missions, put in data cores, or run faction warfare, or Cosmos missions can do it also. So you basically need your standings to the Caldari state to be able to take full advantage of standings and broker fees here. So yeah, so with that, so there's a lot there going on. What kind of effect this huge increase of ISK will have is anybody's guess. Obviously, the more people have money, the more of it, especially when it's kind of come from nothing, saves you having to grind it. People be happier to spend it, probably. More people spending means the higher you are going to pay for goods and services. So yeah, watch this space. But yeah, as I said at the start, I'm kind of on the fence. I don't want to say I'm happy or unhappy. I do think it's a bit in a kick in the teeth that we've been through all this pain in regards to too much ISK being in the game, so they've had to manage that out, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you have a huge great injection of ISK. Now obviously player retention and the rest of it plays a factor here, but yeah, it's an interesting revelation anyway. So as I say, we've never had pure ISK as login, not in this quantity anyway. So as I say, if you do it with items, the items don't generate money. In fact, if you give somebody an item and they sell it, it's actually taking ISK out of the game because you have to pay the sales fees. And yeah, so yeah, I'll finish it up there, wrap it up there. Thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed, then please do think about it. If not, drop us a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.